July of 2026 will be 250 years of freedom in the United States. There will be many celebrations in 2026 for this special year. This project is a way for each of us to celebrate our ancestors who served in the Revolutionary War. If any of you are like me, I had no idea that I had ancestors who served. As I began digging into my ancestry, I found that I have many direct great-grandfathers, great-granduncles, and other distant relatives who served. I have found that some of them applied for pensions. In the pension files, I learned where and when they served, what some of the things are that they did to serve their new country, and I learned some of the people they served with. This video will show, 1, how you can find your ancestors who served in the Revolutionary War, 2, how to see if they or their spouses applied for a pension, and 3, how to find and work with the transcriptions of these pension records. You can then celebrate your ancestors in whatever way you would like, but I suggest you share it with your family and with others. Goal 1. Identify any relatives who served in the Revolutionary War. Goal 2. Find out if any of your relatives applied for a pension from the United States government. Goal 3. If a pension application is found in the National Archives, try to make sure it is fully transcribed. Goal 1. Identify any relatives who served in the Revolutionary War. For this first goal, I will use Family Search to look through my ancestry to identify relatives born between 1720 and about 1762, and that they lived here in America. You can use any other family history account you might have to search for your ancestors. On this, I'm going to show you how to go back on your family lines. This is on Family Search, and this is my family. And I want to make the comment that before I learned about these Revolutionary War records, I had no idea that I had any relatives who served in the Revolutionary War. So when I learned about this project with the National Archives, I thought, oh, well, I want to see if I have anybody. So I just went back on my line, and you can see here, if I go to, let me see if I can increase this a little bit. There we go. So you can see my Aldous line, Robert Aldous, he's in England, and his father's in England. So that was not a line for me to follow. But this Drake line was here in Illinois, and then Vermont, and New York. So I followed this line back. Here's Daniel, Seth. Now you're looking for the dates Seth possibly could have, because to 1760, early 60s, they may have come into the war and helped in the end. But I'm going to go over here. So I have this, and I don't know how to pronounce all of these names, but Abijah Drake, however you say his name. So I just click and say open in a new link, and we go to this person. And then I was checking on the sources. And as we see here, right here in the sources, you see Revolutionary War index cards. So he obviously served in the Revolutionary War. So I was surprised that I actually found somebody. Let me click on this, and we can go, and here's the record, and it says in 1775, and he served in Massachusetts, and he was a private. So that's what I learned about him. Let me see. Okay. All right, so that's one way, is just go back and look at the sources. Okay, let's go to my next one. He's 1723 to 1805. So both of these now, Abijah, the first time you can have a pension record was offered in 1818 from the U.S. government. So he lived past that date, so we could possibly look for a pension record for him. But John Prentice died in 1805, and you look at his wife, and she died 1771. So neither of them lived old enough to apply for a pension. But let's look at John, open in a new tab. and he has 6 sources. And when I looked through here, I didn't see anything about Revolutionary War. But I go to the details, and when you go down here, brief history, and it says, from the record of Massachusetts soldiers and sailors of Revolutionary War, a compilation from the archives. He was a private under Captain Edward Seagrave. So somebody has put this information in here, and it tells us that he served in the Revolutionary War and was a private. Do I see what state? It says he was a regiment that was engaged at the siege of Boston. So he was probably in Massachusetts. So I learned that he served in the Revolutionary War. So now I have 2 great-grandfathers. Okay, and then when we look at John Perkins, he was born at the right time, but he died 1750. So he was not even alive during the Revolutionary War. But then we can look at his son, John Perkins, and I have let's see, John Perkins, okay. And it appears that he did. Let's look at his records. Okay, some of these I remember where they're at. Now this one, I don't see anything right away. Looking down here, and so if there's a lot of them, you can do Control F, and then you can type in REV and see if anything comes up. It says 1 of 5, and that's an easy way to find it. So here is a pension payment ledger. So he received a pension. Now, whether he received the pension from the U.S. government or from the state, that ledger, I don't know. Let's click on it and see if it tells me what it says. Okay, he was in Vermont. So he was on a ledger that appears in Vermont. So did he get a pension from Vermont, or did he get one from the U.S. government? Well, now here I've got Revolutionary War pension, 1835. So he applied, or his wife applied. Did he live long? He lived long enough, 1835, for a pension from the U.S. government. And it says here for the archives. This is from the National Archives. So and this one I had found, of course, after I started looking for these, and I was able to attach it. And I will show later on how to attach these records if you find it in the National Archives. So I have another great-grandfather. That's 3 so far. And that's what I did. I just went through each of these grandfathers, looking and seeing. Here's another one, Seth Drake, that died 1821. So if he served, he could have applied for the pension in 1821. What's his last name? Drake. Look on my chart here, and yes, he also received a pension from the U.S. government. So let me go down. Is there anything else? I think that covers most everything. It's really pretty easy. You just go back and find people that lived in the those early colonies that were alive between about 1720, maybe possibly before, and generally a little bit later than that, and then died during the Revolutionary War time, at least 1770, 1780s, around there. But to receive a pension, they had to have lived, or their spouse would have had to have lived past 1818 or 1832. Well, let me show you one other one. Let's see, I think it's on this line. So Isaac, he died 1834, so he applied for one. I cannot remember who it was that it was through the spouse. Maybe it was him. I think, let's open this one up. And I believe, yes, this wife is the one that actually applied for the pension and received it because her husband had served. And so I I don't even know, I haven't even counted, but I have more than 10 of my great-grandfathers that served in the Revolutionary War. And I never had any clue that I had anybody that served in the Revolutionary War. And then when I extend it and start looking at some of their brothers, which would be uncles to me, or their children, so some of my cousins, I have so many people that served in the Revolutionary War, and many of them received a pension. So that's what I want to show you right now on how to at least find your relatives that served in the Revolutionary War. There were 3 acts of Congress offering pensions for the Revolutionary War soldiers and their widows. The first one was the Act of 1818, which offered pensions to the Continental Army veterans with at least 9 months of service, but required proof of financial need. The Act of 1832 expanded eligibility, allowing veterans with just 6 months of service to receive pensions, regardless of their economic status. And then last, the Act of 1836, which enabled widows to receive pensions if they had been married to a veteran before the war ended in 1783. Goal 2. Find out if any of your relatives applied for a pension from the U.S. government. Go to the National Archives Catalog website. And here's the website, the URL. Make sure you use the National Archives Catalog and not just go to the National Archives. The catalog has the searchable pension applications. Also note that your ancestor may have received a pension from the state they lived in. I have a great-grandfather who was wounded in a battle, and he received a pension from the state of Virginia and not from the U.S. government. On this part, I want to show you how to search the National Archives for a pension. I'm going to start with this Henry Shipley. This is his pension and his wife Ruth. And I'm helping a friend. This is one of her great-grandfathers. Let me go to page 7. Okay. 7, and I have to hit enter. There we go. Okay, on here, the very first part, it says, I, Adam Shipley, of this county of Allegheny. And down, farther down, it says that he is the brother of Henry. Well, in Family Search, she does not have parents for her Henry Shipley, and she doesn't have any siblings. So this is something she learned. And while we were going through this, it says that he was a pensioner. So I want to show you what we found on him. So let me make this smaller. Okay, so when you want to look, we're going to go to the catalogarchives.gov. That's the National Archives Catalog. You do not want National Archives, just the National Archives Catalog. And it's going to come up with this search bar here. And I am going to tell you to click on Advanced, and right here you're going to put it in quotations, and I'm going to put in Adam Shipley. And then you go down to this record group and you put in 15. And if you want to know more details on this, I have another video. I'm just trying to go through this whole system, this whole project really quickly. Just look for how to search the National Archives Catalog, and you can find more information on it. So you click, and it gives me this Adam Shipley in Virginia. And when I came down, farther down here, there's Adam Shipley, and there's one record on there, one page, and it says to see Adam Shipley, and it turns out it's this record here. So that's how you find somebody. It's pretty easy. You just look them up, and if they're not in there, it tells you that there's nothing, they're not in there. They don't have a good result for you. So this Adam Shipley, the first things I want you to notice is there is this NI, this is the National Archives ID number. I would copy this down, There is a way to find the person after you found it the first time using this archive number, the National Archive ID number. I'm not going to show you that in this video, but there's another video that shows all of that. Okay, so we have Adam Shipley. The things you're looking for is, it says here, transcription available. So this page has been transcribed. And if I click on it, there's the transcription right there. Okay, let me go to page 2. Well, the other thing is, if you look up here, it says there's 53 pages and 4 of them have been transcribed. So that here it says 53 images. There are 53 pages. So let's go to page 2, and that one has been transcribed. Page 3 is transcribed, but page 4 is transcribed. Now we'll go to page 5. Okay, here's page 5. It has not been transcribed. I'm working on this right now. So what you can do is this extracted text, and you click on that. This was transcribed by Family Search, their AI program that they have. And so it goes through, and I would say it's about 80% correct. So you can go through and read it, but you will, as you read it, you will find like, oh, what does that mean? Or I don't get it. And because sometimes it takes one part and it puts it down here when it should be up here. It mixes things up. So what the National Archives is asking is that we go through this and then we put it into here, or put it into the transcription and fix it. So I'll go over how to do that, how to transcribe it here in a little bit, but I just want to show you what you can find on here. Well, you can find, if this one says not started, so that means nobody has transcribed this part that was transcribed by the computer. Let's see. Okay, I think I've covered everything on this, just how to find them. That's the easy way to find them. The one thing I didn't, let me go back here, that I should mention. Let's go back to the beginning. You can also, if they don't come up Adam Shipley, you can put the last name, comma, and then the first name there, and that's another way to search. If you are, I guess I said I wasn't going to, but the control numbers, you can go to this National Archives identifier, and then you can put that ID number in and find them that way. Goal 3. If a pension application is found in the National Archives, try to make sure it is transcribed. This record says transcription not started. This one has not been fully transcribed yet. Alright, so for the goal 3, the third part of the project is to transcribe these extracted text from the computer. So you click here, this is what I do. I click on this extracted text, and then I copy what it has in here. And you want to make sure it stops here and doesn't go down. So you don't want to catch all of this down here. You want to stop at the end of that. I do Control-C to copy it. Then I close out of this, and I usually close out of these images here. And I click on this transcription not started, and this comes up, and I have to click Start Transcribing. And I do Control-V, and it pastes that in there, what was in there. That's what the computer, the AI did. Then I can make this over here larger. And you can make this bigger or smaller. And so then you compare in detachment. Now the other thing I often do is I paste this into a Word document and use it on my other screen. And I paste, and then that way I have it. And if something happens here, because every once in a while I try to move on from, and I don't click this publish and close, and it really messes up the program, and it's kind of hard and you lose everything. So a lot of times I do it in a Word document, but for this video I'm going to do this. In detachment, the officers, I believe that says the officers. I will go through this again later, but I just want to show you. Date and particulars of which he cannot recollect with the certainty in fact he was in the service in one capacity or another. So this is how you do it, and I then go through and fix this up so that I can read it better. So I will come back to this, but when you're done or when to take a break, you say publish and close, and now it's there. And then when I want to come back, I just clicked on this again and it's opened up again for me to work on. And that's all there is. They want you to transcribe each one of these pages. And it is challenging with this cursive. Some of it's easier to read than others. But that's the main thing that we're trying to do. And now it will say available, even though this has not been fully transcribed. But I will come back in and do that. Okay, very quickly I want to show you, if you want to transcribe, you can just transcribe it and then keep the record for yourself. But when you go down here, it says start transcribing. If I was not already logged in, it would say log in or sign up. And then you just come up here to this login, and it will say log in or sign up, and you just follow the prompts on the sign up so that you can have access to transcribing. I just want to show you one other thing I just figured out today. I was transcribing and accidentally hit something, and all of a sudden the page turned. So on this page, it's got this sideways. It's really hard for me to transcribe it, to look at it sideways, but what I've done in the past is I do a screenshot, save it out, and put it into an editor and work on it that way. But I just figured out if I do on my computer Shift R, it turns it to the left. So now I can transcribe this, or at least read it. And you have to just keep turning R, until it comes back to the right one. There's probably another key that turns it to the right instead of to the left. But anyways, I just wanted to share that. Share your findings with others. One way to share the information is to link it in the sources of Family Search. I will show you how to do that in just a minute. I would love people to comment on this video what they have found. The number of ancestors found that served in the Revolutionary War. The number who applied for pensions. Is the record transcription complete? If not, ask for help with the transcription and any other information you want to share. Alright, the very last thing that I have to show you is how to attach the record, this National Archives record on Family Search. So on this page, I usually go to page 1, but if there's something specific that you want, like when the wife is mentioned, you could attach that page to her record. But I'm going to do this first one. You just copy the URL here. I do Control-C, and then here's Adam, and I go to the sources, and right here it says add source. Add a new source that says give it a date. And I think he served at 1778. I can go back and check that and fix that later. I should have checked the date. And then I'll put in National Archives pension record. And then right here, you Control-V, and you put that URL right in there. And down here, you've got place to put in notes if you want to add anything there, and then click Save, and there it comes up. And so from there you can come down here, and there's the link, and so if I wanted to click on that, it will take me right here to the National Archives, to that record. Sharing information with the National Archives. If you find something you would like to share with the National Archives, you can share it through their survey. Go to this URL. Here are the 8 questions that they ask. Please provide your name and/or National Archives catalog username. Are you a volunteer who came to this project via the National Park Service? What is the URL of the record you would like to share? Page number or numbers for the part of the transcription you wish to share. Please share the relevant part of the transcription or a description of the record you wish to share. Tell us why you find this interesting or any other detail you would like to share. May we contact you if we have any questions? If yes, please share your email address. Here are a few things that I have learned on my ancestors or ancestors of my friends. Some were on a crew to build forts. One ancestor and his father helped make snowshoes for the soldiers to use in the winter. One of my ancestors was in the Navy. One ancestor served when he was very young. He served with his father. He was a drummer and a fifer. He also mentioned that he served at one battle with George Washington. Some of the men served protecting the communities from Indian attacks. 2 of my ancestors were sent out to buy cattle to feed the soldiers. Happy hunting for your ancestors who served in the Revolutionary War.